Now, the Ian Jessop Show.
Welcome back. Joining us for this segment of the program is Mark Mawhinney, investor and entrepreneur, along with UVic student Bhupinder Dulku, who has developed a prospective business. And Bhupinder is going to give a pitch for his business, and then we're going to take a commercial break, and then Mark is going to offer a critique. How did this come about, Mark?
Well, on occasion, I judge business plan competitions for the University of Victoria, and I met Bhupinder last week when he participated in something called a Pitch It competition. And the Pitch It competition is very cool because what the university has the students do is essentially do an elevator pitch, and an elevator pitch is typically 60 to 90 seconds. It's meant to create clarity of mind and get the entrepreneur focused on the really core things that matter to his business pitch, his or her business pitch.
Yeah, for example, if you're in an elevator and someone says, "What do you do?" Yeah, I'm in business. Well, what kind of business are you in? So you have to, by the time the elevator reaches whatever floor, you have to be able to clarify your
That's right,
pitch.
which is harder said than done.
Oh, yeah.
And I will say that Bhupinder has 10 minutes today, which some of your listeners may think is tough to get your concept across. But I will say that to get a concept across in 90 seconds is much harder, in my view, than to get it across over a 10-minute pitch. And what impressed me about Bhupinder were two things. One is I think he did an exceptional job in getting his concept across, to me at least, in the 90 seconds that he was given at UVic. And then secondly, I think his business actually has prospects, which is why I asked him to come here today, and here he is.
Bhupinder, do you think it's easier to make an elevator pitch or a longer pitch?
Well, first of all, I guess thank you for having me on the air here. I would definitely say that having more time is much easier than an elevator pitch, and that was one of the biggest things when deciding how to present the product, had the toughest time deciding what to do. What key things are we going to say across to the judges that are going to make them listen a bit more, get hooked on to what the product's about, especially when you're competing against about 15, 16 other students that also have very great ideas.
Okay. So we'll let you go. You have up to 10 minutes. You don't have to take 10 minutes. And then we'll, after you're finished, we'll take a commercial break, and Mark will come back and offer a critique. So the floor is yours.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you for having me. So the website or the web-based product is called travelmetrics.co. It is a data analytics tool that helps users plan their trip better by quantifying select aspects of travel. Our website provides 4 different main travel facets or metrics. The first one of these is tour safety, which is very important to everyone I can think of, even my friends, that when they've decided where to visit or where they want to travel. The second one is a climate-based visibility, which provides an overview of the best months and the best months to visit a place, and why worse months or maybe not as good months are bad to visit, whether it's too rainy or too cold or the weather's too hot, different things that may just affect your travel plans. The third one is expensiveness. It allows you to understand how relatively more expensive or cheaper a location is to your current location or a different location you decide to select on the website. And the final piece, which is one of my favorites, is the current buzz of a location, or which we like to call the news cloud. We have 3 different news clouds, an immediate one, a 2-week one, and a 2-month one. And the news cloud itself is a very easy to understand picture, I would say, that gives you a very quick overview of the main sort of stories coming out of that region. So if you're traveling to West Africa and you just haven't been aware of current news happening, maybe you'd see the word Ebola, and we provide a search function below the news cloud where you'd pump in words that you see above, words that appear more often, words that appear more often will appear larger in the news cloud. You would pump the words in Ebola into the bottom search bar, and you're going to get relevant, credible news stories on Ebola happening in that region. And another example would be Papua New Guinea, which just currently had an earthquake and tsunami. And when I checked the news cloud, biggest word on that news cloud was tsunami. Pumping that right into news cloud, I was greeted with very credible news stories and sources where I could understand more about what's happening there. And this credibility is a big piece of travelmetrics.co. One of the main functions that we're trying to really bring across in the website is there is a lot of data out there. There's a lot of data in even 60 seconds. You're going to see 98,000 tweets. You're going to see almost 700,000 Facebook status updates. You're going to see 11 million instant messages. You're going to see about 170 million emails sent in about 60 seconds. And alongside all of that, you're going to see a lot of blog posts, articles, travel advisory pieces that are done by bloggers or maybe individuals that have traveled to a region. Inherently, with all of those things that are getting put out, there's a bias attached. And that is one thing that we're trying to overcome. We're trying to provide a objective tool that has information that is based on sound, reliable, and legitimate data. And it's not tailor-made on opinions or tailor-made on what someone's experience in a current location, but it provides the user with, here's the safety score based on very credible information from government and non-government organizations alike. Here is the best months to visit based on a giant climate data set, I would say. Here is the current news happening in that region coming from Reuters or Al Jazeera or some of the big CBC or some of the more credible news organizations, as opposed to a blogger saying, I didn't like my time in Thailand for X, Y, and Z reason, and suddenly as a subjective reader, I may base my opinion on whether or not to travel to Thailand on what I just read. So that is our main sort of function and goal, is to provide that data that's based on sound, reliable, and credible information. I guess I could speak about how this idea came about. So Travel Metrics itself was an idea that rose from a postgraduate trip plan or planning between some friends and myself. And naturally so, parents, much like anyone's parents, are worried about travel safety and are worried about how safe the destination may be. Some of my other friends were concerned about the economy of it, how expensive that region is going to be. Truth be told, none of us had any idea when the best time to visit was. We narrowed our list down to about 3 potential different destinations. We had Zurich, Switzerland, I think, on there, Cape Town, Africa, South Africa. We had Sydney, Australia, and all of us being diligent as we were, decided to go out and research each one of these locations. And right away we were greeted with multitude of blog posts and opinions. Sure, you can find information on the best time to visit. Sure, you could find how safe a region's going to be, but a lot of stuff that we did find was opinion-based articles that individuals spoke about personal experience. And the other unfortunate piece was that we didn't have a central location. We must have bookmarked 25 different pages and blogs and articles, and then each one of us had done this separately. So when we came together, we're wading through this being like, you know what, this place is the best place to go, or this place is the best place to go. And not coming to a consensus of that, we decided to add more cities to the list. Indonesia, South America, and the same sort of cycle ensued. We had multitude of blog posts or reading again, articles, and no one central location. We could be like, this is how safe it is, this is the best month to visit, this is how relatively expensive it is, and this is what's currently happening in that region right now, not based on a Twitter hashtag or not based on Facebook updates. So yeah, so that's travelmetrics.co. A picture is 1,000 words is what I would like to, close with for all the listeners. I would say, I shouldn't say viewers, all listeners listening in. Pictures 1,000 words, and that's what we've tried to do with our massive amount of data. We have over 8,000 search destinations, and we've conveyed all 4 of those metrics in a simple picture that is easy to understand and that is in a central location where someone can make a very objective judgment based on personal preferences on where they want to travel to. Maybe you don't care about expensiveness as much as you care about safety. Maybe you don't care about hot weather as much as you care about that the current location doesn't have some kind of virus or disease. Whatever that preference may be, we've provided 4 sound metrics that can help a user come to a decision.
Good. Thanks, Bhupinder. We'll take a commercial break, and when we come back, Mark Mawhinney will ask Bhupinder some questions, offer critique right after these messages.
Email talk@CFAX1070.com. It's the Ian Jessop Show. If it's the Colwood Crawl or a mess on the Malahat, We've got your back with more traffic more often. If it's happening, it's here. Victoria's News Authority, CFAX1070.
To get things done, you need the right tool for the job, like the GMC Sierra 1500, with outstanding fuel efficiency, available OnStar 4G LTE Wi-Fi, and an available 420 horsepower V8, the most powerful engine in a light-duty pickup. Lease a Sierra 1500 double cab from $145 bi-weekly at 0% for 24 months, but only until April 30th. GMC's Precision Truck Event. Visit bcgmcdealers.ca.
The trucks continue to roll in. It's End of the Roll's nationwide truckload sale. Save on the newest flooring styles for 2015 from today's hottest brands like Mohawk, Armstrong, Volue, Torley's, Tarkett, and more. The nationwide truckload sale on now at End of the Roll. Brand name flooring, low prices, always in stock. Come see our new location on 601 Boleskin and 2364 Millstream in Langford.
East meets West with devastating effect in Pacific Opera Victoria's production of Puccini's Madama Butterfly. Join Pacific Opera as it presents Madama Butterfly, a timeless love story set to Puccini's glorious music. Heartbreakingly beautiful, an opera to love forever. 5 performances only, April 9th to 19th at the Royal Theatre. For tickets and more info, visit pov.bc.ca or call 250-385-0222.
Attention, this is the Alarm Force Central Station. We are receiving a panic signal. Is everything okay?
It's Jane. My password is 452. I just heard glass shatter downstairs.
Jane, stay calm. The authorities are on their way and we'll update them on your situation. I'll stay on the line with you until help arrives.
No phone line at home? No problem. Go wireless with Alarm Force's cell wave technology, installed at no charge for a limited time only.
Call 1-800-267-2001. Alarm Force.
I already have my hands full making sure my business runs smoothly. Good thing business banking with Van City is easy. I can do my banking online or with their mobile app. Plus, they have accounts that make it easier to manage cash flow, which means I can focus on the important stuff, like getting today's orders out the door.
At Van City, we see big value in small business. From smart advice to practical tools to flexible accounts, we have what you need to help your business grow. Visit vancity.com/smallbusiness. Van City. Make good money.
Hey, it's your anniversary in a week, right?
Yep.
Getting the missus anything special?
Well, I don't know. I got time. I'll think of something.
7 days later.
Happy anniversary!
Oh, no way. Already?
Yes!
Some things are closer than you think, like the JBI Pub and Restaurant at the James Bay Inn. Try their 3-course dinner menu and experience great home-style cooking with fresh ingredients made from scratch. The JBI Pub and Restaurant at the James Bay Inn. Really good, really close. Corner of Government and Toronto.
CFAX Sunday. The biggest stories of the week, revisited with all your favorite hosts. Sunday morning at 8 on CFAX 1070. Informative talk. Now, the Ian Jessop Show.
Welcome back. We're talking to UVic student Bhupinder Dulku, who has developed a prospective business, travelmetrics.co, and he gave us a presentation on the business, and Mark Mawhinney, our regular investor and entrepreneur guest, is here to ask Bhupinder some questions and offer a critique. Mark?
So I just want to start by saying that Bhupinder and I didn't talk before his pitch today, so he wasn't given any coaching, and I didn't sort of direct him in any particular direction. We chatted a bit during the break, but there's 4 things that I look for in any pitch. One is identify the problem. Tell me what the market pain is or market opportunity, depending on your business. And then how are you going to solve that problem? Who are you and why are you the best person or team to build your business? And if you're not, how are you going to mitigate your weaknesses? And then finally, how are you going to make money? I think Bhupinder did an excellent job of going through the process of telling us what his solution is. The challenge with focusing on solution alone is that there are, I call them deep, dark, smoking black holes, particularly in technology businesses, where people have really cool ideas, but the cool ideas don't necessarily make a great business. And a great business has to be something that solves a market pain. So Bhupinder, can you tell me about the market pain? I'm not clear. You've got a cool product. I'm not actually clear on whether there's a demand of 300 or 400 people that are actually going to 300 or 400 million people that are actually going to go to this site and use your product.
Sure, of course. Well, first of all, I guess thank you again for having me on air. So just to answer that question, I guess for any viewers that are listening, they can go to the website now if they would like to follow along as well at www.travelmetrics.co. I'm sure they may be driving. I don't think it's not very advised to look it on your phone. But to answer your first question, Mark, what I would say is the market problem that we are trying to solve is that there is a vast amount of opinionated data out there. And many sites, even the big players in the space, sort of function on a review basis, where you may even see Yelp, and that's a very different example, but where users will talk about their sort of experience on a location or something else of that sort. So going on to like TripAdvisor, Travelocity, or Expedia, or some of these other places, you're going to again see a lot of personal reviews that are put out about their personal experience. I may not know about some of the viewers or even yourself, but I tend to become very biased if something negative happens on my trip out to Thailand or something else that sort, and suddenly I have a very subjective view about how safe that region may be or how expensive it was. Maybe I was scammed, I don't know. Yeah.
So have you done research that says that giving objective data over subjective data is in demand, meaning that people are thirsting for this? Or are they being satisfied so far with the Travelocities and the Expedias?
Yeah, of course. I think we would definitely be a sort of a first mover advantage in the space, and maybe not even an advantage I could say yet, but a very first mover in the space. And in terms of people being satisfied, it's hard to say if they are being satisfied or dissatisfied if you only have sort of one viewpoint on something and you haven't seen the other sort of. It's like a false dilemma is what I'd say. It's almost a fallacy where you only see one aspect of how something is presented that you don't know about another aspect. And now that we're presenting a different aspect or an objective way to present that data, maybe individuals or users will find that more meaningful to them than just reading reviews.
So who worries you in terms of competition?
It would definitely still be the big players in the space that have that big following, that do have that traffic, that do have those individuals that are sort of behind them. Otherwise, I would definitely say other players that are going to come into the space, if, say, this idea does go far, does become bigger and all of that sort of, all of those things, it would be other players that come into the same field trying to objectify their data. We're a startup business. We come into the scene before someone decides to travel and have planned their or have booked their tickets. Whereas Expedia, Travelocity, and sort of all those other players, they work on more of cheap air flight algorithms, is what I would say.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that the fact that yours is an objective site is key to the problem that you're trying to solve, and that problem we're assuming is something that is indeed a problem. It's not a solution seeking a problem, but I think one of the keys to your success is going to be that there is a thirst in the consumer marketplace for this type of a product. If that's your secret sauce, or if that is arguably your competitive advantage, how is your data being populated? So how can you be comfortable that the data you're using is indeed objective as opposed to subjective? Because, for example, I could say, let's say I live in Mexico City, and I did a search on Mexico City after your pitch. And there were some items of safety, public safety, that came up in the cloud, and the word cloud. But what if I were biased and thought that was unfair and started to find the sources of data and put in my own bias and said, well, actually, Mexico is a really safe place to go? How can you guarantee that that's objective data?
Yeah, so I guess two-part is how I'll answer that question. The first piece is, in terms of your earlier question about demand, just to quickly address that as well, there is, in our initial research of the market, there is a demand there in terms of individuals. I mean, there's about 1.8 million searches on just the big sort of destinations such as Hawaii and Jamaica and some of those other regions, Barbados, where people are searching the best time to visit and how safe that region is to travel to. And to address your other question in terms of how sound the data is, all of our information, without, I guess, unfortunately being able to, it's a proprietary secret, but without giving away the sources, is a lot of that, all that data comes from government and sort of non-governmental organizations that have done massive amounts of information gathering, that have done massive amounts of, information on those regions and the entire globe. And this information is out there. That data is out there type thing. This is a data analytics tool that has taken all that information, appropriately presented it, in my opinion, regress the information in a mathematical model way, and that's where sort of the proprietary piece of it lies. Information out there is out there, but being the team we are, the data scientist, Mr. Paulie Arora, which is one of the co-founders, that ability to create a mathematical model and the ability to present that information in a very easy to understand, user-friendly way is what makes us different, is what I will say. And in terms of how sound it is, that sound and credibility comes, and if you go to the website, you can sort of see how our metrics are explained, and you can see the basis of the metrics. But all that information, rest assured, is not collected from any opinionated blogs or pieces done by people. And even if I was inherently biased, the data itself can't lie.
Bhupinder, we just have a couple of minutes left. I want to ask you a couple of quick questions. There are some big travel websites out there, Expedia, Travelocity, and those. How do you plan to market yourself, and how do you plan to make money?
Yeah, of course. So the make money piece is sort of still in the works in terms of which direction we should take. I think as an organization or as a product, we were very, we have this motto or this basis where we really believe in individuals having the ability to really understand fully and objectively where they may want to visit or have information about a region. So to address the second piece of that question, about money, we're exploring a couple different models currently, and we're going to explore and see which one of those models are going to be the best for us, whether that may be a partnership with somewhere like Travelocity or Trivago or some of the big players. I guess instead of naming them, some of those big players that may want to partner or affiliate with us, or finding some way to monetize the website. Those are two really big ones we're exploring currently. I think the one thing we don't want to do is create a membership or subscription fee. We don't want to bar people from coming to the website, getting the information they need, because that is primary focus for us.
Mark, what do you think?
I think that the idea of not charging a membership fee is important, because there are so many freemium models out there where people can get access to information, and to create that barrier right out of the gates where you pay even if it's $1, people are hesitant to pay $1 for something that they don't know is going to be of value. I think the idea of looking at potential partnerships is a good path, or at the end of the day, what may end up happening to a business like yours is that as you build up your data set, that may end up being the value.
Sure.
And how people interact with that data, and how travelers interact with that data, and how they use that data to then make travel purchasing decisions. If you can report out and create, in some respects, a dashboard for businesses like Expedia, there could be value there as well.
And that's our first piece that we're really excited about, seeing which regions are searched the most, which metrics are looked at the most, and that data itself is going to be very, very valuable to us.
Bhupinder, it was great of you to come in and make your pitch. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Mr.
Appreciate
Jessop.
it. Thank you. Nobody ever calls me Mr. Jessop. Mark is required to do that on occasion, but he never does. Mark, thanks for coming in.
Great to see you again.
UVic student Bhupinder Dulku and Mark Mawhinney. The website is travelmetrics.co.
This is Victoria's News Authority, CFAX 1070.